and this is the basement, right? And I
Oh,
look
yeah, okay.
down, and so I take my nods off, and I fucking turn on the light. It was all the sewer water from the whole building.
Nope. Ugh.
I
Nope.
looked down. There was a piece of like this big, like somebody was congested or backed up.
Right? Because
But
that's
this,
raw. That's raw sewage. That's not like.
it is too much this right now. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the gallows. Today, we have Mr. Dan Horgan on the podcast. He's a good friend of mine. Dan, we met about 4 years ago? 5 years? Well, longer than that, right?
God, yeah. This is back in BRCC days. So
2014,
5 or 6
15?
years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah.
It's
No,
been
it's
a
been
minute.
like 19. Like probably 19.
19, I keep forgetting. I've just been around the block like a little hoe, so I lose track of time.
Well, 2020, COVID really, right? It's kind of zeroed out some time.
Yeah, no kidding. And right before we got on the podcast, we were just telling you about the whole premise of the show is pretty much, we're kind of, at least I'm tired of hearing the podcast of like, oh, I went to war, I killed people, fucking brace me, and well, it's all cool and not. Like, I like listening to those podcasts. I think people can relate a lot more, and I think not just military service members, but I feel like the civilian world wants to know the funny stories, the shit in between those brief 10 minutes of a firefight that defines your whole military career. But besides that, it's like I was having a podcast with Mr. Nick Powers, my buddy who runs Warfighter Scuba, and I was like, bro, we have this little 10-minute gap of where it defines our whole military career, but people don't know what we do in between that. And I was like, I feel like we are cellmates. Like we're locked up in prison and we come up with the dumbest shit to do in between. And that's when people get in trouble.
Shawshank Redemption.
Yes.
100%.
100%. So for those of you that don't know Dan, I'm going to let Dan give you a quick background of his military career and his law enforcement career as well.
Yeah, no, thanks, Chris. I am the old guy, so I joined the Air Force in 91.
Woo.
I went, yeah, right. So we talk about stories. I went to basic training in February of 91, and the Desert Storm kicked off in January of 91 for the history,
shit.
right? Yeah. So, right, when I was in basic training, like we would get pulled aside and stuff was going on, and like, oh my God, we're going to go to war. I didn't, right? I was a cop for the Air Force. I went to D.C. and did the Presidential Honor Guard. So I did all the funerals at Arlington for the Air Force. Yeah.
That's got to be tough.
It was. I would tell you, man, like that. Those 2 years. So it was a special duty assignment, right? So that was just two years for a little enlisted kid. I mean, I've done over 1,000 funerals. And so
Jesus, bro. Fuck.
So your ability like to control your emotions, like my wife, it's ingrained in me. But I think though, it's crazy. That was 90. I got there the summer of 91, and I left about like October of 93. I still iron my clothes. I mean, I can't keep my hair long. I still get. I have hair, right? But I still keep it short. Like those 2 years, boom, yeah, incredible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially when you do that many funerals. I mean, I get it. Like, not at the level that you did it, but like, I can sit at a funeral and not fucking cry and not feel anything. I just sit there, watch everybody else cry, and you're just like, okay,
yeah,
like it's part of life. But yeah, I can't imagine that, like having to do it. And I'm pretty sure you guys did it on a constant thing. It was day after day after day, right?
Every day. Well, and I would say the fast forward, 2011, Afghanistan. I'm JTACing it up, and we had some guys killed on ops, and you still do funerals in country.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting in the talk, and I'm listening to the Army Joes talk about like getting the blanks and doing the firing party, because that's what I did. I did a firing party with my size, and it just was a soup sandwich. And I raised my hand. And I was like, "Look, man, I did this thing back in the '90s, but I did it like really professional." I was like, let me do it. And the sergeant major was like, sure, Air Force, go ahead. Great. You got it.
Yeah.
So yeah, gave me seven guys and blanks, and I got to practice a little bit with them. And then when we had the ceremonies, but then, so that was the, company sergeant, right? So remember, I'm Air Force, so I got to do my
probably the company sergeant major. Yeah.
But then it was the brigade sergeant major who's
Oh,
coming
shit.
through afterwards. Yeah, shaking hands. And then he sees me, the Air Force guy, being the N2IC for the firing party for the 21 gun salute.
Yeah.
And just was like, what? My JTAC patch, right? Like, what the hell? And I think I ended up doing 2 or 3, ceremonies in 2011, calling it, right, the whole ready, aim, fire thing. And
Damn.
so, yeah.
Yeah, I bet that sergeant major was pissed. Like, where the fuck is this Air Force guy telling my guys what to do?
That's exactly what that brigade sergeant major was like. You know, right? Get out. Why is the Air Force kid in charge?
Like, teach somebody else your position and get the fuck out.
Right?
Oh, shit.
So that was cool. And then I cross-trained. I flew in AWACS for a couple years. So I was an enlisted air crew. I wanted to get out of North Dakota. And so North Dakota took me to Oklahoma. That's where I had my first military divorce. But then met my wife, Bethany, now. So Bethany
Nice.
and I, come March, we'll be married 25 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody knows your first military marriage doesn't count, right? You got to get that one out of the way.
You got to have a divorce under your belt.
You got to meet the statistics and get that one out of the way, and then you start over.
I did, and I had a Camaro, which was probably at some super high. And
what percentage?
This would have been 97, 98.
What was your interest rate?
I had a
10
Camaro. Divorce, super high interest rate. I was
smoking a lot.
I was at E5.
Oh shit! You're checking all the boxes, just down the line.
I was.
Yeah. We need to get Daniel to do a box every time we do the podcast. Now, like divorce, yep.
I check so many. Never a stripper though. No one was ever a stripper though. So
that's more of an Army Marine thing, I think. I think you Air Force guys have a little more standard sometimes. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, that was active duty, Chris. So I left. That was about 2000. I stopped flying, and then Bethany and I got married in 2001. And I was a cop still for the Air. Well, I went back to being a cop for the Air Force at Andrews. So now I'm in the reserves.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then 9/11 happened. Oh, little thing 9/11. So now I'm back on active duty.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and so at Andrews, but it was boring. Like we weren't going to deploy. We were literally just searching cars for bombs at Andrews. I mean, it's important. But
Andrews in D.C., right, or Virginia?
It's Maryland definition.
Maryland, that's right. Yeah.
But like it's in Maryland, but there's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
And so then that's when. So I'm in the reserves, but I'm doing that, and dude, I'm working with people that are like state troopers, because it's reserves, right? And so everyone got called up. So I got the bug. So literally while I'm doing that kind of stuff, I applied to be a Baltimore cop. All right. So I'm from Baltimore. So I'm on my active duty orders, but when I have my time off, like I'm making my appointments to apply for the Baltimore PD.
Oh shit.
Get accepted. So I go through all the wickets, like I'm able to make all my appointments. I pass everything. And right when my orders ended in January of 2003 is when my police academy for Baltimore started in January of 2003. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, so I literally came off active duty orders for the reserves, went right into the police academy, 6 months there, which I really like. So making drills, so when people talk about it, so I did 24 years, but I retired with like 21 good years.
Yeah, that's still a lot of fucking time.
Yeah.
That is a lot. How was, like, I want to dig into this. How was being a cop in Baltimore? Like, what's the funniest shit you saw there as a cop? Because I'm sure you saw some.
Some stuff like, I talk about it like, I got to do LinkedIn. And so I'll talk about shit on LinkedIn a lot. And some stuff I can't talk about, right? Because I'm not sure if there's, like, I'm not going to go to federal prison. Like, I didn't do anything dumb, but like, I just did some funny stuff. Why I left is even a cool story. So I left in 2010. I was doing narcotics. I was a drug cop, right? You know the Isaacs, right? So Isaac, he always likes to be like, I was a narc. And I mean, so I did drugs.
Typical Mexican saying, calling somebody a narc.
Drugs. Yeah. I mean, I could say I bought heroin a dozen times legally.
Oh, shit.
No, so I was flipping a guy. I had a guy with like half an 8-ball, and I was just gonna flip him. And so we had ordered about $600 worth of some heroin. and we were going to try to meet him, like typical, like just military planning, even, right? I was going to try to meet him on my turf somewhere, and we were on the east side of Baltimore. But it was just it was getting wonky, right, in the conversation. Like we even actually went to a strip club if they wanted to see like where the location of the phone or something was, plus plus the background noise, right? We wanted authentic, right? So we literally were sitting like in a strip club trying to make this deal. We did it, but then we switched it. They switched it on us. So we were rolling. We were a good squad, and so we were cocky, and so where they switched it, we were even comfortable with. But that's where Murphy's Law kicks in, right? You're trying to be so dynamic. So we moved locations, and it was outside of a Rite Aid. So a Rite Aid is a pharmacy, like a Walgreens.
Pharmacy, yeah.
Yeah, like it's like a Walgreens or a CVS. So they moved it. And so the whole premise was like, all right, cool, dude. Like, we'll do it. So my partners showed up in their car. They parked. And then I get in, and I'm like in a Toyota Tercel. Right? So I'm in a Toyota Tercel. And you probably look at how I look now, which is everybody, you still look like a cop. But I looked like this. And but I had the guy next to me who we were flipping. And so the premise was I was going to be out of the car. This guy would get in the car, and then we would just storm the car. Too easy, right? Nope, Murphy's Law. That's when Murphy's Law really kicked in. So I just turned my radio off, put it under the front seat, and I don't have a vest on. So I'm like, again, I'm looking, I'm like, and so I
trying to fit the part.
Yeah, well, you're a gun guy, so I carried a Glock 27, which is a subcompact 40, and small on my back in a little holster, and that was it. And so I just turned the radio off, slid it under the seat, and I was gonna get out. And right as I was doing that, the guy jumps in the back seat. I mean, you're like, okay, we'll just roll with it, right?
Yeah.
At that point, I'll probably just like take my badge off my hip, right? And, police, inside the car. Nope. So we're having, right, random junkie banter, and which is like, a couple seconds. And then next thing you know, I hear, and everyone knows what sounds like.
Ooh.
And I look back like this, and I got a silver 380 pointed at the back of my head.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, super cool. It's one of those, like, alive days, because I should be dead. So people are like, then what'd you do? And I've talked about it so much, because this is early 2010 this happened, and I left late 2010.
Ooh.
And so, anyway, so my theory was if he pulls the trigger, he's going to graze me somewhere, right? Like he's going to miss. And so I literally bruised 2 ribs getting out of the car that quick. So I literally just hit the door handle and went. So I
shit.
bruised 2 ribs on the steering wheel getting out.
Oh.
Yeah, but I would tell you that's actually pretty effed up because I left the real drug guy that we were flipping still in the passenger seat.
As the car's going?
No, we were parked. Oh,
okay.
We were parked. So think about, like, if he was going to shoot me, now I just left that guy, and like, thank God he didn't kill like the poor dude who we were flipping, right? There could have been a lot that went wrong that night. He doesn't pull the trigger. He doesn't shoot the guy I'm flipping. I roll out of the car, come up with my holster, but now my partners see me getting out of the car all frantic because they're just parked in a unmarked, like, random car.
Close by.
So they get out of their car. I'm coming around the trunk, right? We're slow motion this. I'm coming around the trunk. The guy in the back seat who's, was going to rob us was just like, what's going on, right? And so he gets out of the car, but he gets out of the car. He still has the gun in his hand. And you talk about the closest. And I could have squeezed the trigger. Like but if people are familiar with Baltimore City, that Rite Aid is at the corner of Greenmount and North Avenue. Greenmount and North Avenue is a 4-lane like road. And while he was probably 10 feet away from me, that backdrop, if I throw around, it's going into a bus of nuns, right?
Oh.
So I yell gun to get my partner's attention because they're behind me, right? And again, when you work narcotics and you're friends with these guys, they're like, we were waiting for you to shoot, and then we were going to shoot. And I was like, you MFers were going to shoot around me? No, y'all would have shot me. They would have shot me like in the shoulder. They would have shot me.
Oh shit.
He hears that, turns, sees, and drops it and lays down.
Oh God! Thank God.
Yeah. So, it really is thank God, because I would tell you that dude he already had 2 felonies prior, but one was a violent, and so he didn't get the 3 strikes. But so at this point, we go back. I created a crime. I created a robbery. Think about it, right? And then I solved it. So the district detectives were like, thanks, because that we still have to report that a robbery happened.
Yeah.
So the FBI statistics, right? So I created a part 1 crime, but then solved it. The feds picked it up just because of who I was and working narcotics and stuff in the citywide drug unit. And so he did 7 years in prison. Obviously he's out now. He did 7 years, but he did a confession, right? Which we didn't need a confession, but he wrote, one of the things I did save, I now have a copy of this, was his last page of it, and he thanked me for not killing him.
Oh wow.
He was like, I want to thank the drug cop for not killing me. That's like what he wrote, right? And I was just like, which is and right, cops can get a bad rap. I get it. Trust me, I get it. But those kind of decisions, though, like, stick with you. But that's when my wife Bethany was like, "You're done." But as we talk about military, then I deployed a year later, so we moved back to Oklahoma, and then I go to Afghanistan in 2011.
Yeah.
So,
Dude, yeah, I didn't get a chance to go to Afghanistan, but I feel like it's like kind of like the same. Iraq and Afghanistan is about the same. So, and
shitty.
By the same, I mean the people. Yes.
Yeah, shitty.
100%. Yeah. Because, I was having a conversation with a buddy of mine the other day, and he reminded me of this, and I totally forgot. So I was there 06, 08, and during the surge.
Yep.
And so we were doing mostly raids at night.
Yep.
And we were hitting this house where we knew we had a target that we needed to go after. This guy was funding IEDs and AKs and all that kind of stuff, and we knew where he was. So we go in there. Our intel was okay. We heard he was in the very top room. He was actually in the middle where I was hitting, and so we hit it. And he knew the house, right? So he runs, takes off running, and starts going down the stairs. And here I go chasing him, and they said alive. So I was like, ugh. I'm like, all right, I got to chase this guy. And so I start chasing the guy. We start going through some stairs, and then all of a sudden I just hear a splash. And I was like, what? And so I'm running down. Yeah. And I was like, I start running down. All of a sudden I feel water in my knees, and I'm like, what the fuck? And this is the basement, right? And I look down, and so I take my nods off, and I fucking turn on the light. It was all the sewer water from the whole building.
Nope. Ugh. Nope.
I looked down. There was a piece of shit like this big. Like somebody was congested or fucking backed up.
Right, because that's raw. That's raw sewage. That's not like.
And so I see it, and this fucker's swimming towards the door, towards like a window or something at the opposite end of this.
Right.
It has to have been 5 feet of water, of shit water.
Yeah.
And then you're
gonna die of some kind of bacteria, bro.
And I'm fucking throwing up, looking at this turd on me, and I'm like just violently throwing up. Like, I don't even think I've ever thrown up like that, as hungover as I was, or like I've ever been. Like, I was fucking puking my guts out. I was like, what the fuck? And then finally everybody comes down with their lights. They're like, what's that smell? I'm like, it's shit. As I'm running the other way, we ended up catching him outside through the window. He jumped out. Yeah. And he was covered in shit. Like, I was like, you nasty motherfucker.
It is nasty. So that was one of my things, actually, Chris. I'd say. So again, when I went to Afghanistan, it was 2011. So I'd already been a cop. Actually, I just left being a cop. I would say at Baltimore, my kids just asked me the other day, because we were talking about some stuff, and they were like, which one do you think was more dangerous? And I was like, oof, I don't know, dog. Like, Afghanistan, I got shot at more, but I had a radio and like 13 other guys and automatic weapons. Versus Baltimore, I was like, it was just your dad in a black hoodie creeping through some alleys.
Yeah.
Right? I was like,
yeah. But that's a tough one, dude.
Yeah. But I've been in some, as we talked about, some shitty situations. Yeah.
Yeah, in the 90s, Baltimore was pretty fucking popping, right?
Yeah, we had
or
about,
even now
350 homicides a year. It always was like Detroit and us, where per population, Detroit and us were always like trying to vie for number one. But yeah, you were looking at like 350 homicides. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so going to Afghanistan, like I had already seen death, right? I mean, I hadn't deployed. Like I've done a ton of training, right, for being a JTAC, but I hadn't. But I've seen literally entry wound and a guy's teeth blown, right? And you're like, that's an execution because you don't get shot on the cap of your head by random.
Right? Yeah, by random or caught a stray bullet. Like no, bro,
yeah, right. And your teeth are just blown out on the street, and things. I already had seen that, and so it was, But again,
you were prepared.
They're not shooting at you randomly, right? So again, like you walk in patrol in Afghanistan, while I've walked patrol in Baltimore, no one's just all of a sudden, from a house popping out going, ah!
Dude, yeah. My hats off goes to every cop out there, bro. Especially like areas like that, like Baltimore, Detroit, Cleveland, like areas like that. I've met so many cops, and I'm like, bro.
Well, we just, because you're here, right? Just so people know, like you're just up in New Braunfels, right?
Yeah.
So I'm in Stone Oak, here to the north side of town. I was just reading they had 2 Bexar County sheriffs get shot 8:30 a.m. going to a domestic, right? And it was Yep.
I see it every day. I mean, I'm so very thankful. I got a lot of close friends here that are part of the sheriff's department, and man, just God, dude, the amount of stuff that goes on. I'm like, around here, I'm like, we're supposed to be like in this little badass town, and
crime. Yeah, right. Crime is everywhere. But that's the thing. That's the thing for me. Like just as we talk, like between military and law enforcement, like the guy when you leave being so think about like I did 7 years, and a lot of people don't retire from the military, right? And so like, I did 7 years in the military. But you can still claim VA benefit. I did stuff in the 7 years. Cops, if they leave,
that's it. Yeah,
it's just bye. And you want to talk? Like I know it's not war, but like again, like I'd sit and I'd argue a point or debate a point all day. Like you put on a bulletproof vest and a gun and go every day. Like so. Here's even a story. My middle son Matthew's 18. The day he was born, one of my old partners, Louis, he shot and killed a kid. But typical like people didn't know where I was, and so my phone's blowing up. Bethany is in labor, like having Matthew, and my phone's blowing up. And I got to check, and they're like, dude, did you hear? Like Louis just had, like he shot a kid, had a gun. And I was like, no, I am at the hospital.
having a kid. Yeah.
Having a baby. No, I didn't hear, right? And because everybody thought I was probably with him. Like and you're like, no, dude, like I'm off right now. But anyways, to go back to that, like you get work. I think, I wouldn't say the guys, don't quote me. I think he got like workman's comp for having to kill somebody. Right?
Damn.
Yeah. And again, you're not talking about dropping a 500-pound bomb on somebody, right? Because I've been there.
You're
talking about like having to squeeze that trigger and see it, and then you're doing it, and then you're there rendering aid. Yeah.
Damn.
No, there is no PTS for these guys to get 70% for the rest of their life.
That sucks, dude. That really sucks. Yeah, that's horrible. I just did a podcast not long ago, and we were talking about how a lot of veterans take advantage of the system. Guys that get out and got out just fine, don't have anything wrong with them, and they forgot to take advantage of the things that you did before you retired, right? So one of them, like I was saying, is they give you the option of helping you write a resume.
Yep.
They give you all the things to set up, so when you get out, you have opportunities to find jobs. But a lot of these guys just are on the mentality of, I just want to get the fuck out, and don't go to those things. They just get the signature.
Oh yeah.
And then they get out and they realize, like, oh, I fucked up. And so what do? They get coached with somebody how to go to the VA and how to get 100%.
Yeah.
And do all that, and they take advantage of the system. And then then we have so many veterans who are getting, let's say, PTSD medication, and then they're saying it's not working for me because they're throwing it in the garbage because they don't need it.
Yeah.
But now you have 70% saying it doesn't work and 30% saying it works. And those 30% of vets who actually have it no longer can get that medication because you know how the government works. When the number is bigger, they throw it away. And they're like, oh, this is not working. 70% people said it's not working, they throw it away, and then they fuck the other 30%. And so I said, not every veteran that gets out of the military deserves 100%. Yep. And it was like I told people it was one of the most offensive things in the world, and now everybody's like, well, fuck him. Of course, he's got 100%. And I'm like, not by choice, motherfucker. Like,
no, yeah, no, it's, but I would say, yes, no, I'm with you. I will tell you, like, I have been on a journey since 2019, going from 30, 50, 70 to 80. And it's just like, they wear you down.
Well, this is what I'm saying.
Down
like, there's guys like you and a bunch of the people that I know that served for a very long time in a combat role and don't get 100%.
Yeah. Right?
Because for whatever the weird reason is that they keep denying you. But when you have a guy that gets out like that and all they say is I got PTSD and they get 100%, you're like, wait a minute. Like, fuck you.
Well, here's one. This is the one I love. So I do my hearing, and I have hearing loss, but on the high range, right? And then obviously I have tinnitus, right? We all have tinnitus. But so Afghanistan, I would tell you, I had a 60 round hit 15 people.
Oh shit!
Yeah, right. So that should have been again another alive moment.
Mm-hmm.
Not dead, but at least have my face ripped. So they give me tinnitus, but they don't give me hearing loss. So you're like, wait a minute. So the explosion obviously rang my bell, right? Probably gave me the TBI
or a concussion,
TTS, right? But hearing loss, and the hearing test that I did was way more intense than I ever did during the service. It was like an hour-long hearing test. It was crazy, right? And the guy was like, "Oh yeah, you probably need hearing aids, but it's just a higher end." Yep. They were like, "Nope." Same thing. My TBI just came back, and the TBI I didn't even do any like brain testing or anything. But they were like, "But this is what the VA said too. We concede you have TBI, but not service related."
What?
So it's an
where the fuck did it come from?
That probably gave me my PTS and gave me everything else, and like you're like. And if you say you concede that it happened, but not that it's, you're like, like some of the reasoning, you're just like,
it's fucking dumb. That's
like,
what it is. But see, this is exactly what I was talking about. Like, you got legit guys like you and other guys that we know and can get to 100%, but these fucking people show up and lie.
Yeah, my wife has a person fell, not any name, but anyway, she does personnel. They fell out of their chair. They fell out of their chair in the office. And I don't know them, and I don't know the extent of their injuries, but when you just hear that they fell out of their chair in the finance office and they're at 100%, I just like, man, that was a really big fall.
Yeah. What was it, 3 stories high? Like, what were you doing? You know? Yeah, no, dude, trust me, I get it. I just started my TBI process. Like, I didn't do it before because I was like, oh, I don't need that. But now I'm like seeing the patterns. Like my eyesight is kind of like. I get all these lights. I've been getting migraines. Like, I feel like I'm floating until like I started to notice this. So I started the TBI stuff. So I'm going to start looking at all the things that I can do to just make me feel better, you know?
Because you've done the scuba. And so I've never done scuba, but like archery is my thing that really helped me, but you can't do it. I guess can't is a strong word that people you can't. You don't do it every day or even every week. Like, I hadn't slung some arrows in about 2 weeks, and I just went out to Bullis yesterday and was.
How dare you? Or you can come into my house, bro. I got a 4 range in the back, baby.
How far can you go out?
Mine 100.
You gotta have 100 yards. You can do it. Yeah.
And I got everything, bro. I got full size elk. I got full size deer, sheep. I even got a big ass gator. What else do I have? I got African animals. I got a bunch of little things laying around.
Did you get any from the ranch when we closed the ranch down?
All of those. I wanted the
Bigfoot?
The Sasquatch one. Yeah. And Matt took it, bastard. Yeah, whenever you want, come on here, man.
That thing is, I would say new. That thing's like $4,000 or something like that. New.
Holy
crap!
Crap!
Like on the Reinhardt makes it, right?
Yeah, Reinhardt. Yeah, they're all Reinhardts.
It's like 4. We should just plug. We're just plugging brands,
right?
Headstrong Project, Reinhardt.
What else? What else we got?
What do you shoot, Chris? What are you shooting?
Matthews.
Matthews. Okay.
Yeah, I've been shooting Matthews ever since I can remember. It was the first bow I ever picked up. Yeah. Actually, I started archery because of Archery Country, and I know now, like
Tyler, yeah,
everybody's like, "Oh my god," you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
But I met Tyler back in
yeah.
2000. I known Tyler since 2015, I think. So like over a little bit over or under 10 years. We're about to go a little bit over 10 years.
Yeah, yeah.
And he brought me in, and he was like, "Hey man, like come shoot a bow." And I'm like, "Bro, like look at my hands. Like I don't want to hurt myself or hurt you."
Right.
And yeah, so he's like, "Come after hours." And I lived close by. I lived like at Steiner Ranch at the time, so
Yeah.
it's close by to Archery Country. And so I went by and dude, and he started me up with a Matthews Mission, which is a kid's bow, and it tops out at 55 pounds.
Right.
And I just got obsessed with it, and I started shooting and shooting and shooting. And then one of my buddies in Bastrop was like, "Hey, he's like, I have these bison in my property." He goes, "This other gentleman bought them, but his wife got some sort of disease where she couldn't eat meat. She had to go vegan."
Yeah.
And he's like, he doesn't want them, and I'm gonna give you the option if you want one of these. He's like, just pay me like the whatever it was, like $2,000 that I have invested in them, and you can come shoot one.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Can I shoot it with my bow?" And he goes, "Absolutely." Right. So we spot and stocked this thing on 8,000 acres. Finally smoked it with my kid's bow. And after that, bro, I was hooked. And so I share that story online somewhere and whatnot. And the people at Matthews were like, "Oh my God, that is so great."
Yeah, yeah.
And just develop a relationship with them. And I've been shooting Matthews ever since. Yeah. So
right. So I shoot my PSE.
I like PSE.
Yeah, no, I mean but it was right, it was the BRCC, right? So I have the original, that stealth, it's carbon fiber one that we had done back in the day. And but then I got to meet Pete, right? When he still owned PSE, and
great guy.
And his his daughter Jenny and I are still friends, and I feel like actually if I shot anything other than a PSE, like Jenny would call me. I'd get,
"What are you doing?"
Yeah, right. No, it's actually, it's been good. Like I had it restrung, junior restrung it for me. And,
nice.
I need to get a new sight actually, but dude, like that's what I talk about. So for me, it's been crazy. I got my first buck.
Nice.
But I didn't get it with a bow. I couldn't do. It was a rifle.
It's all right.
You're in the rifles. It was a proof.
Yeah.
Dude, that was like a $7,400 rifle. Like I had to look it up after I shot it, and that was like just a rifle. And the guy's scope and suppressor that I had on it, like I was like, "That's probably $10,000." I was like, "This is probably a $10,000 rifle." I don't have a $10,000 rifle.
I got one of those, and I hid it from my wife for the longest time. Like I was like, bought little things at a time.
Yeah.
And I got narked by one of my buddies. We were out somewhere, and I didn't see her behind me, and we're shooting this thing at 1,000 yards. And my buddy's like, "Hold," and I had I have the whole dial pad, everything, telling him where to hold and everything. And then he goes, "Well, how much is? Dude, I need to get this set up. How much is this?" And I go, "Well, the rifle is about $7,000. I was like, the suppressor is about 1,000. I was like, the Swarovski scope you're using, that's about another $4,000. I was like, so about 11 or 12.
Yeah.
And I just hear, "What the fuck?" And I look back, I'm like, "Oh shit." I was like, I was sponsored by this, honey.
Right. Yeah, no, that's why the guy who Chris, who invited me down, it was ranch down in Poth. It's about an hour south here of San Antonio.
Okay. Going to like Castroville area?
I don't know, dude.
I've never heard of that one, but
right? But look at me, I don't go south much. So, but it's about an hour south of San Antonio. It's cool, and about 600 some acres. Then it's high fence, and so, but it was great. But no, I was like, man, I don't have a rifle, right? I don't have a rifle. Baker back in the day, like I have a Mossberg shotgun, but like that's not gonna cut it. He's like, "Don't worry about it. Like I got." He goes like, "I got you." And I took like 3 shots before I went out.
Yeah.
At like 100, 200, and it was just zeroed, right? It was like even, but that's the thing though, like a scope, because like you can't pick up my bow and smoke something at 100 just right, because it's, and so I was just putting that same premise behind it, but even like 100, 200 yards, like I was just nailing it, and it was easy, like no adjustments, and so we went out to the blind, and I got him, and he was about 100 yards out, so it was
nice.
I was pretty stoked. Actually, my guy, it's up in Bernie, right? Bernie, he's the one doing the taxidermy.
Oh, nice.
What kind of mount? I'm like, it's my first, like, everybody's telling me shoulder mounts.
Oh, shoulder
I got
mount.
shoulder mount. I gotta get a shoulder mount.
Yep.
So,
First buck, yeah, you always gotta do a shoulder mount.
of
That's
course,
awesome, man. I'm glad you got into the outdoors.
You got stuff hanging around the house though, right? Like, so I don't have anything hanging in the house. So my wife's like, ugh.
I got a little too much that it's carrying over to the garage now. I mean,
I don't have anything hanging in the house, so we're trying to figure out where we're gonna put it.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. How did you like the hunting? Because I always preach about being in the outdoors and how good of a therapy session it is for me. And not even necessarily, like, I've gotten to the point where I necessarily don't even need to hunt something. Like, I just like being in the middle of nowhere in a ranch where there's very little signal or just enough signal. If my wife's not with me, then I can call her and be like, hey, I'm alive. I love you. And I'll see you. And then I hang up and I literally chuck my phone and I leave it somewhere and I forget about it. Yeah. And nowadays it's very hard to do, right? Especially like in our space where everything is revolves around social media and everything that we do is around that. But having the ability to put it away and shut down and just recharge my batteries, man, for me, that's one thing that I always share with people. Is like, just get outside and go do things like that. So how was it for you?
Yeah, no, Chris. So that, again, with a rifle, it was good for me 100%. But I would tell you though, so I shoot, but I like shooting the bow now because a bow takes me away from, and this is what I'm getting at, the bow takes me away from the tactical side. And so when I say that, even though I'm sitting in a blind with a sniper rifle, right? And I wasn't a sniper guy, right? I like long range marksmanship wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
But when I'm sitting in this blind and you have to be quiet and you're looking at something that you're going to kill. Again, I'm good with hunting. Right? Honestly, deep wise, it's like I was back being tactical.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm looking through the scope but binos of stuff. And then I was even practicing shots like on the does, which is all good for hunting, right? Like where would I place it, right? And then of course, even for my shot, I was looking out one window, nothing was there, and then he came over here. So now I had to move the rifle and be all quiet. And I'm in this mode, and the guide's probably like, relax. But then even after I take this shot, though, he was like, are you all right? And I was like, again, motherfucker, like, I've hunted people. Like, I'm good. But you get in a mindset like that, which you and I love the outdoors too. So it wasn't a bad thing, but for me, the rifle kind of takes me back to
the similarity of
the tactical side.
I can see that.
You know, versus like the bow. Like I didn't ever stalk a person with a bow or walk with a bow. So the bow for me,
Rambo.
Yeah, right. So the bow for me really brings that back. But I mean, I love hiking. Like I do I got a go ruck and we'll ruck like I don't do. Again, I'm old, so I don't go far.
Yeah.
But I'll do 30 pounds and do like 3 or 4 miles and get
shit. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've ever gotten that take on somebody. I guess I grew up hunting, right? So with rifles before I got into bow. So like for me, those things don't correlate, like deployments and that is just something else. But that's interesting. I had never heard it like that, but I can definitely see what you mean about it does bring you back to being tactical. Makes sense. Yeah. But 100%. Dude, my wife's the same way. Like when my wife started hunting, she was rifles, right? So I built her like every rifle that she wanted that I hunted with. She was like, oh, I want one of these. So I built her one. Right. And we did archery challenge about the first one that we did. When did we do the first one with
2020?
Was it 2020?
The one in Salt Lake?
Yes.
Went up on the
2020. Yeah. So she went on that one as a spectator, just with us. And then she just looked at me. She's like, I want to try this. And I was like, okay. So as soon as we got back, we went to archery country. And I told Tyler, I was like, she wants to shoot a bow, and his eyes lit up. He's like, come on. And he like didn't even fucking say hi to me. He just took Kristen and they went and set her up with a brand new bow. And he goes, here's your bill. And I'm like, you son of a bitch. But he put her on that. And then we went hunting and she shot a buck with her bow. And after that, she like legit looked at me and she said, I don't ever want to use a rifle again. I want to bow hunt. And I'm like, okay, honey, whatever you want. And so that's all she's at now, man. Like, and that's literally why I have those targets back there, is because anytime she looks at me, she's like, when are you taking me hunting? I was like, let's go practice. and we get her dialed in and whatnot. I'm like, all right, let's go. So
Mine wants to. I think you've done it. Mine wants to do the helicopter. She wants to shoot from a helicopter.
that's
She
my
wants
kind
to
of
go some hog hunt from a helicopter.
dude. It's fun. We're gonna set that up, bro. I'm gonna set that up, and we're gonna
So
go.
that's we talk about being. Check this out though. So checking a box. Bethany's still active duty, so I get to be a middle spouse.
Oh,
yeah, she made E8 like last year. Yeah, so Beth works at Rand. Yeah, so she's at E8 at Randolph Air Force.
No shit. My niece is actually looking to join the Air Force. She graduated last year. Right now, she's working as a corrections officer. She just wanted to get her feet wet a little bit, but she's thinking about becoming an MP in the Air Force. Which I told her, I was like, hell yeah, because I can go see her graduation right here.
She she wants maybe like active duty or guard or reserve.
Active duty. No, she wants to go active duty. Okay. Yeah. So
I have an 18-year-old that he's not working right now, and it's like we have to do something, and the military is there.
Yeah, I love it, man. I think we get a back stigma in the military sometimes. Of like people are like, oh, you go to the military because you got no other options. It's not even that. It's just the military gives you great options when you get out, or you can have a badass career. Like I don't know. I recommend it to everybody.
Dude, I was gonna go back. Check this out. So there's a program. It ends in January, and it's called, but I can't do it. It's called the Voluntary Return, like to active duty, like kind of thing. The VRAD.
Really?
You had to have retired like January of 17 to now.
Fuck.
I retired in June of 16. So I retired 6 months before, and they're not doing any waivers, any exception of policy.
I retired in 2010. Son of a bitch.
Yeah. So, but I would have just been like a TACP instructor at the schoolhouse, probably down at the Chapman Annex.
That would have been sick.
You're non-deployable. You stay at your ranks. I retired as an E7, right? So I just went an E7 teaching, and it's 4 years. So I'd have been like, dude. I know, but they wouldn't grant. They don't grant a exception of policy waiver.
I almost stayed in when I got hurt. I actually stayed in. They didn't have the co-ed program that they have now when you're a service or a wounded service member. I wanted to do the co-ed thing, and I wanted to be a fucking drill sergeant so bad.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to go scare these motherfuckers, and I got denied because they said that I was gonna scare them so much that we were gonna have people quit, and I was like, good, I don't want those guys in. And
yeah, right.
Then they gave me an option of doing like a desk job. It was like a S4, S something. And I actually went to where was it? It was Kentucky. No, it was Kansas for First ID, where the First ID brigade is at, or division. And I went to do the interview and whatever, and I walked.
Hey, was that like? Is that Fort Riley? Is that Riley?
Fort Riley.
Yeah.
And so I walked in, the S shop or whatever, and these people are like, "Oh, I'm fucking Tiffany, and I'm fucking Samantha," and I'm like I'm Sergeant Avila. They're like, "Oh, but what's your first name?" Sergeant Avila, and they're like, "Oh, this is a very relaxed zone, like stress free, la 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 la," and I was like. And I just started looking around, and like I saw like no standards, no nothing, very like low military fucking bearings, and I'm like, you can't have a frontline guy, go from that to this, and I was like, cool.
Now, is this after your incident? Like, I don't know.
When I got hurt, I had the option of dropping my retirement package or still staying active duty.
Yeah,
and so I was weighing my options. I wanted to stay active duty because I was a lifer. Like I wanted to do my 20-some, 30 years or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I was pursuing that. And when I saw that, I was like, I came back to Fort Sam Houston and I was like, here's my retirement package. Let's get this going. And, ended up retiring like 9 months later or some shit. But then I found out after I retired that they started the co-ed program where you can still stay as an 11 Bravo or whatever your job title was and whatever capacity is active duty, and I was like, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And
do you know Nick? You know Lavery, but I don't know if you know him. Like, he's still right. He's still active.
Yeah, he's still active duty. Yeah. He's still in, and that's the thing. Like that happened, and I have a lot of friends who lost limbs and still active duty. I mean, I have a buddy who's an SF guy. He's above the knee, and he's still active duty.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, I was like, fuck.
But let me just tell you this, though. You guys are very judgmental.
Oh yeah.
above the knee, below the knee.
Oh yeah, we are. It's a constant fight. It's like the guys who are above the knee call us below the knee paper cuts. They're like, "Fuck you, assholes!"
I know
like,
you do. I laugh because I know, right? I've been around enough. Right? Yeah, you guys are brutal to each
Derek
other.
Carver lives like 10 minutes, 15 minutes from me. And so he's my gym partner. Like we go to the gym. Like right now he can't because he just had surgery and he's all jacked up. But like we meet at the gym and people come up to us because obviously two winded fucks working out.
Yeah.
People come and talk. He's like, he's a paper cut. I'm the real winded guy. And I'm like, shut up, Derek. Like, fucking asshole. And people just laugh. Or some people look at us, like, stare at us awkward. Like, I just came to say hi. That was weird. And they walk away.
I had my buddy Stan. So Stan and Stan lives in Oklahoma. He was a Marsoc dude. And, Stan's below the knee. And we used to run together, right? He's got the blade and everything. But I'd be at races and like people would come over and these two, I remember this one, we were Lake Hefner up there in Oklahoma City and two ladies come over and they're just like, oh my God, and I was like, whatever, dude. Like, look at that bionic freaking blade. Like you're bouncing like 100 yards per step. They didn't know that I knew him and they were like, oh my God. You can't talk to him like that.
Oh, shit, that's funny.
Fuck his leg.
He's like, he's got an advantage. Oh, shit. Well, what was that guy in the Olympics? Remember they disqualified him because he had an advantage and he was a double amputee and he was beating the normal people? I was like, really? You going to say that out loud? Like,
no.
Oh, fuck.
No, I just, I say all you guys. That sounds very... but like, well, and I say this though, look, Jonathan Lopez, right? Jonathan's missing his arm. Well, that wasn't in it wasn't in combat.
That was a motorcycle accident, wasn't it?
Yeah, but he shoots with his teeth, right? Come on, dude.
It's so rad watching that guy as he puts his arrow in. And
anyone, like Jonathan does it, but like anyone that shoots with their teeth, like out of your mind.
It's wild.
And shoot well, right? You're like,
and he's good, bro.
God,
we did tag together.
Yeah.
And we were doing 100 yards, and I'm like, fucking setting in. I'm like, thunk, hit.
Yeah.
And then I just watch him, and he's like, thunk, hit right next to mine, and I'm like, you motherfucker. He's good.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love Caleb, right? Caleb's out there hunting and everything, double, and
yeah.
Clint, I mean, Clint's not doing. I don't think Clint's doing too much archery, but like I remember too, like meeting Clint the first time, 2019. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like after his incident, and he was in the chair, but now he's got you guys got your legs. You got your legs, man. Like it's awesome.
I took him hunting at a buddy's ranch up in Catula, and he shot a couple pigs.
Nice.
About 200-300 yards away.
Yeah, dude. It's I don't know. Not that we're going off topic, but it's just one of those things. Like everybody, we all have our woes, right? But just then you look, but there's. And I don't like.
Yeah. No, listen.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I
don't know
exactly what you're saying.
It's like they're like, don't ever like everyone wants to say I can't do that, and and from everything in life, and you're just like, man.
I hate that fucking word. I hate when you tell somebody, hey, can you do this? I can't. And I'm like, it fucking gets to me. Even, and I hate to say this, but even my wife, when she's like, I can't do that, I'm like, don't say that word. I hate it. Like you can
say you don't want to do it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Say you don't want to do it.
Exactly.
I don't want to do it.
You just haven't figured it out, and that's another thing. Like my nieces and nephews are coming over for Christmas, and I'm like, they know. Do you not say that fucking word around me? Because Uncle loves you, but he hates that fucking word. So,
well, my youngest is 13. I'll tell you a real quick story. My youngest is 13. Noah. We live on a little incline. I was just effing around like in bed on my phone, and Bethany's like, hey. Noah wants to race, so I had to put my shoes on, and it's. I can look up my. It's maybe 100 yards, but anyway, we did it like in 19 seconds. So I ran like up it, and I ran in 20, and he ran it in 21, and then we raced, and we were tied. We did it in 19.
Damn.
But I'm like, he's 13, I'm 54, and I was just like, but she knew though. She's like, no, I told him that you would not say no. She's like, your dad is not gonna say no, like dude, I just ate some breakfast. Like I had pigs in a blanket, so I already had some breakfast in my stomach, but I was like, let's do it.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome. Yeah, same here. I mean, they always challenge me to do things. I'm like, come on, let's go. I'm like, you
Yeah.
might beat me, but it ain't gonna be easy.
Right.
It ain't
And
gonna be
again, because
easy.
I'm not gonna say I can't. And then if you don't do it well, or if it doesn't go, you're like, okay, well.
You know what I think it is, Dan? I think is that we both have realized that at some point we're not gonna be able to. It's not that we can't. Is that physically we're not going to be able to? You know, you're going to have the mindset, but your body's not going to be able to keep up.
Yep.
And I'm very aware of that. Like I'm very aware of one day it's just going to stop for me, right? Because like people are always like, "Oh man, you're out here in the middle of nowhere in the mountains and climbing and la la la. You look rough. You're hurting. You got this. You got sores. You know, you're all fucked up." I'm like, right now, but one day I'm 40.
Yeah.
One day shit's going to fucking slow down for me, and then. That's it. What do you do after that? I don't want to ever sit back. I don't ever want to sit on the porch with our kids and have that mentality of I regret not doing something. I just want to be like, I fucking did it. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, we did it. We did this. We did that. Whatever. And I'm happy, and I can say that I did that. You know, that's why people always trip out like you skydive. I was like, yeah, I was a skydiver for like 5-6 years with Dakota. Dakota Myers and I went together. We jumped 20-30 times a day.
You're always jumping crazy now.
Yeah, Miguel is, dude.
Miguel?
He's always calling me, and I'm like, hey, fix this. Like, your legs look like shit. This looks that. Like, work on this. And he's like, all right. He's like, you're going to come jump with me? And I was like, listen, when you get enough jumps in you, I'll come jump with you. And he goes, all right. But I'm like, I'm just not coming out of retirement just to jump with you because you want me to jump with you. Like, I haven't jumped in like 6 years, but I'll come and jump with you. But you got to be on your fucking A game. And he's like, all right. And so now, you know, stuff like that, scuba diving, hunting, like I rode motorcycles, I raced motorcycles, I fucking worked on, I mean, I've done more than the average person, and I'm happy and content with it. Like, cause again, I know that one day I'm just not going to be able to.
No. Yeah. And that's just, you know, and that's where the life goes. It's like, not like teaching, but just like that point, like, I don't know, it is like mentoring, just being there, right? That's part of this, getting stories out.
Yep, 100%. And I think we need to do this more. So, well, I'm so glad
veterans do. Yeah, I don't think when we talk about the veterans stuff, it's getting stories out for veterans. You know, to cool guy, CIA Green Beret, to whatever, just walking patrol. Like there's a ton of stories. For sure.
100%.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, man. Well, thanks for coming on and sharing your stories with us, brother. It's great. I know you were very, very, very busy and got a lot going on like the rest of us, but thank you for taking the time, man, and coming and tell these stories, brother. We sincerely appreciate it, and I hope that everybody watching enjoys this episode and get to know Dan a little bit. And for those of you that don't know Dan, what are your social medias, brother? Where can people find you?
Old guy. Start off with LinkedIn. Go to LinkedIn. No, Instagram and Facebook. But I would tell you Instagram. Yeah, Instagram is Dan_Horgan_. Right, it's my face. All right, there's no catfishing. There's no catfishing. Same thing with LinkedIn. It's Dan Horgan. It's no catfishing, but like using those platforms is where I'm at.
You have an open invite to come to the house and do some archery shooting with me and the wife whenever you want.
Yeah, no, thanks, dude. I appreciate it. I'll move my camera real quick as we do it. There's my bow sitting up there.
I need something like that. Holy shit, that's dope.
It's just a.
Yeah, I know. Mine's just on the floor over there somewhere.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I need to hang it up.
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate it,
brother.
dude.
Appreciate you, homie.
Later.
Later, brother.